Drug jewels, like. Get your hands off me.
Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Geek Town here on WEMFI. Ooh, I do it every time, man. I'm sorry. It's like built in because it was just so long. But no, we're
so
talking
much
Disrupt Boston.
Muscle memory going on with that intro, my friend. I understand what you're saying.
Oh, man, it's not my fault. It's hard to focus. But hey, like I said, I am Pat B. On the side of me, keeping me sane, keeping me down to earth, keeping me on the right track is my man, Black Adam Willis.
Guess not the exact right track, but we do our best here.
Well, close enough. We're in
how
the
we
lane,
doing,
right?
P?
I'm doing okay, man. I'm doing all right. Dude,
Yeah.
I am excited about tonight's show. We have an action-packed, fun-filled one for you. We're talking love, death, and robots.
Yeah, something pretty trippy. A little bit.
My favorite topics.
The big three, really, for Pat. But then we got some other kind of trippy
sir.
stuff. This now you weren't really into this, but we got Doom Patrol.
We got Doom Patrol, man. Yo, I know far too much about this damn.
You knew,
series,
yeah.
first of all.
You made me hip to a lot of stuff about Doom Patrol that I wasn't aware of. But
we have just scratched the surface, my friend. We are gonna go deep. We are gonna go deeper than deep. We're gonna go balls deep into Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
That is correct. And then
deeper than it deserves, probably. But then we got something that I haven't seen, but I'm dying to hear your take on it because
Yeah.
this is quite popular right now. Everybody's talking about it. But we got the movie Us.
Yeah, Jordan Peele's latest opus, gone to theaters, and man, I will say this right off the bat: any inclination you have about this being like the next Get Out, put it out of your mind. Okay, the Get Out comparisons, toss them. Okay, you will spoil it for yourself. But also, dude, this movie was so very different,
Right.
and this movie was so very whacked out.
Now, did you see this coming from the guy from Mad TV?
Oh, absolutely not.
You know what I mean?
He got me. I'm just like, okay, this goofy dude who always plays like the weird boyfriend who your parents are gonna love when they meet and such.
That's exactly it. Yeah, but he happens to have a very serious auteur, a horror auteur as well, with
Well,
like really
I'm
something to
glad
say
he turned
behind
out
his
that
pictures.
way,
No, I mean
because-
absolutely, but I just like when I watch those Key and Peele sketches and stuff like that when he's doing Megan. Megan, your jacket. No. And then she walks off, but like I picture him as that every time I see him.
Yes,
and then you're like,
that's
this
your
is
prestigious director now. Imagine like CC. Oh, even better. Keep it more current. Imagine like Steven Spielberg at the start of his career just had like random skits and drag, him being chased.
But
by
like
Mel
he was
Gibson.
doing Bosom Buddies or something like that, but then he started making like Jaws.
Well,
Yeah.
dang! Now you done made it like now you done gave it precedent, because Tom Hanks is one of the most prestigious actors out there,
Yeah.
and Peter Scolari, is he doing music now? I'm not sure, because I haven't seen him in anything in a
I
long
don't
time.
know what I haven't heard that name.
Peter Scolari.
Yeah.
Last I saw Peter Scolari, he was starring in the Honey I Shrunk the Kids TV show, and that was about 20 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he's doing like community theater now in Hell's Kitchen.
Damn.
Probably, yeah.
All right. Well, just check his IMDb. He's like the.
Yeah, I don't want to
fourth
crap on him if
Wachowski
he's
or
actually doing
something.
some serious work or anything like
Yeah.
that. Well, sorry, Peter Scolari, you don't deserve any of
No,
that.
I want to see something like really random, like he co-wrote Hamilton or something. You know?
You never know, man. You never know.
Peter Scolari now producing music for Missy Elliott. Like,
The same dude from Moonlighting, yeah.
yeah. Oh, jeez.
By the way, when are they going to get
want a
Moonlighting on Hulu?
You want Moonlighting really in 2019? You
Nah,
want?
I don't know. I'm just a little weird, I guess.
Nah, dude. There's so many old. You know what? You should watch Castle. Castle is very much like the new Moonlighting. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
Well,
I guess
you gotta
I
watch
get into it a
Castle
little
before you can tell me I'm wrong.
I was like, I'm not going to try to, and then I was like, I'll just take your word for it
I
for now.
got you.
Maybe I'll
I
get
got
into
you.
it a little bit.
No, we have an
Castle.
awesome one for you, dude. Us is going to blow your mind. The review, I mean. Okay, so first of all, dude, let's get into Love, Death, and Robots, because
Right.
this is the new Netflix anthology series, animated anthology series, meant for adults, though, man. This is,
No, this is not for kids. Don't just think that it's an animated series. You can just put it on in the background, let your kids watch it or something like that while you're folding clothes. It's not something you want to do.
mature audiences only.
This does have some
for
more.
good reason.
This does have
Because there
some.
was titties galore.
Some ultra violence and gore, but there's also some tender moments with a little bit of dark humor. It's not all like blood and guts and boobs and stuff like that.
That is correct. That was also interspliced with random flapping
right.
penises all
Right,
over the place.
I think there's 18 little vignettes of these things.
18
They're all about
episodes.
maybe 8 to 15 minutes, sometimes 25 minutes like that. So they're all quite short.
One of my favorites is 6 minutes.
Yeah. So
And, dude,
right
you know,
as you're starting to get a beat on it, it just blows your mind. It becomes something freaky, and it takes that like Black Mirror sensibility where there's a crazy little twist of the knife at the end of this, and kind of makes you want like that. You know, I gotta watch another one of these, and makes your head spin a little bit. You know.
Well, yeah, but believe it or not, it's got a lot of flack for that.
Really.
Yeah, a lot of cats online have been saying this is too much like it's like an ADD.
Yeah, but
addled,
what can't anybody do where it would piss off the freaks online?
Well, yeah,
You know
you're
what I
always
mean?
gonna get
Yeah.
critics and trolls, but I mean, I think some of it's valid. I'm not hating on it. I actually really liked Love, Death, and Robots. Like
Yep.
most of it was just mind blowing.
Yeah.
all the
I
animation
just liked
was beautiful.
Yeah, the
soundtrack
animation
is beautiful.
Plus
the stories are amazing.
The
It's David
style
Fincher
goes.
produced.
The style goes from like it looks like it can be like a video game or some like really heavy manga. You know what I mean? It's
Some
like
of it was
it's all over.
photorealistic.
Yeah, no. So it's like it switches up that style, and it switches up the theme, and it switches up that the way it tells the story and stuff like that. So it is like something for everyone. It's a little trippy, and like you said, David Fincher produced this sucker. Also,
Fincher
Tim
produced
Miller
this one,
from
man.
Deadpool and stuff like that, and I'm assuming his wife, Stephanie Miller. I don't know if we looked that up for confirmation, but yeah,
So
anytime
wait,
David
so
Fincher.
pause. Don't gloss over that. Though. Think about that cachet right there. David Fincher, one of the most celebrated directors this
Of his time,
we have
yeah.
today. The man who brought us The Game. You know, the
And
man
Seven.
behind Fight Club, the man behind
Seven.
Seven. Yes. Well, damn, you got if you want to, yes, Seven. So that's the caliber of gore and
The Social
rawness we're gonna
Network,
see
yeah.
here. But yeah, so like this is just legit stuff. Tim Miller now is just like thanks to Deadpool.
Thanks to Deadpool.
It
yeah.
is just a name to know and like a force to be reckoned with. And this is doing nothing to hurt that rep.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to be all up on his jock. I'm just getting to the point that this had juice behind it.
Yeah, it had pretty
and
good
it
pedigree of people
represented.
producing this sucker. So there's
Yeah. So
and
okay. So just let's jump right into it. What was your favorite episode? What jumped out at you, my friend?
Probably the second one. I'm trying to give. I don't remember exactly what it was. It wasn't a long one, but it was one of the robot themed ones. I'm a robot guy.
They all had robots, man. They all had robots. They all had like death. A lot of them had love at many
A
points.
lot of them have love at many points.
I'm gonna pause real quick on something that has nothing to do with this review. Just I'm sharing the live stream we're doing right now on our Geek Down Facebook, and check out the thumbnail that it's putting out. It's the most awkward picture
Of your face?
of me. Just like, yo.
They never get a good one though. It's not when you in like deep, concentration or something.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
it's like we didn't even
that.
zoom the camera though. How did it get this? It's all up in here. I think you can see my nose hairs, man. I'm sharing it. It's going out. It's
Oh, yeah, it's
just,
gonna go out.
Yeah.
I want that sent. Like that's what it pops up on my phone with your name.
Oh, I'm taking a screenshot, my friend. I will send that just for you.
All right,
That's a
amen.
Black Adam Willis exclusive. No, dude. Okay, so I cut you off. My bad. You were saying the one that really got you, that really moved you.
I don't know if any of them like really, really got me. I think that's the point of it. Like I didn't
no.
get one that was just like that kind of blew my mind. I liked them all for what they were, but I took it as like the gestalt of it. The whole as a whole piece. You know
Look
what I
at
mean?
you trying to be all judicious and PC.
No,
and
but it's
stuff
because
here, man.
like this is something like I think we spoke on it where it's just like it's like Black Mirror for the ADD people. You know what I mean? These are like
Yeah.
these snort little snippets. So it's like you binge it for the binge crowd. You can get through this in a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like these 18 episodes aren't really all that much to get
well,
through.
you can
So
get
I
through
just
the whole
you
thing
watch it and
in
watch
like
it.
one sitting, and then you want to watch them again.
Right.
Well,
There
I
is
wanted
that.
to watch again.
Yeah.
Some of the ones that are really short.
Is there anyone
they
that
can-
you went back to right away? That after
Yes.
which ones?
Yes, because they were messed up. There was more than one actually. The yogurt one, like I mentioned, 6 minutes. It's about yogurt, but
Yogurt,
it's just
yeah.
such a damn. It's a cool story. It's fun. It reminded me a lot of those old Looney Tunes.
Yeah,
where it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
they would show like society and
On
stuff.
acid, though,
People
yeah.
going to work and people in their cars and such. But the whole thing would be like from some like alien anthropologic point of view. So it's like in here they operate in their daily vehicles, going to their normal what do we call like factory receptacle where they produce goods for the society and stuff.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
just like folks, going to the grocery store or whatnot. It's just like one of the main problems they have is producing methane, is methane production, and they show some guy farting on the sidewalk. It was a lot like that, and I laughed my ass off. And then alternately, one of the ones that I was not. There are a couple
You're
of them.
right, that one was good.
Yeah. There's a couple of them that I didn't like until the very end when I saw like the twist, and I'm like, oh, I hope M. Night Shyamalan's watching this. That's how you do a twist. And one of the first ones that they showed me, and we'll delve into that comment in a second. but one of the first ones I saw, I think it may have been the first one. I'm forgetting the order right now, but the robot creature Fight Club. Yeah. And that one, I'm like, oh, I see what they're doing here. It's kind of generic. I've seen this 100 times. I guess when they said heavy metal, they're just going for like the raw and, hardcore fighting and things. But you know what? I'm okay with this if this is all there is. And then, like, the last maybe, in the reverse layer cake effect, the last 30 seconds hits you in the face with this twist. You're just like, oh!
Yeah, that's what you want, opposed to ruining everything you just saw, right?
Yeah. Layer Cake is a great movie starring
Daniel Craig.
Thank you, Daniel Craig and Tom Hardy, skinny, rail thin Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
But it's a great movie until the last 30
and
seconds.
Sleeping pills, Tom Hardy.
And then something garbage happens. This was the exact opposite. This is like it's banal until like just something really dope hits you right before the credits. And then there was like 3 more episodes like that. The one that got me though, like the main one that just sticks in my craw, like wow, was the crew Lost in Space.
Okay.
Well, there's a crew. They're in space, just on a regular transport mission type thing, and they go into hypersleep.
Right.
So they can go through like this Mass Effect long span of, space. So the time they're supposed to be out is like, I think like 2 months or something like that.
Right.
And the dude wakes up and finds out it's been like 6 years, and they're way off course. And he's actually woken up by a girl he met at like Space Dock and had a one-night stand with just before he left forever ago. And she's like, hey, it was serendipity. You're here. Let's just pick up where we left off. And they have this affair, and the sex is raw. Nudity all over and it's definitely an adult program. I'm going on too long about this. I'll just say, when you find out what the twist there is, dude, it just it was all over. Just wow.
It's heavy.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm sorry. I've been hogging the mic, man.
No,
tell me your
man,
interpretation. I feel like you're going to turn around. It sucked, and here's why.
See, what I like about it is David Fincher kind of wanted to produce something. It was kind of like a playbox, a sandbox for animators and creative people like that to kind of have this outlet, you know what I mean, to make some really good, interesting work that doesn't really have an audience anywhere. And if you can say this one thing about Netflix is that it's done a lot of that, and like a lot of it's been like hit or miss. And mostly miss, in my opinion, like that. But sometimes most of the Netflix original stuff is miss for me. But sometimes, you know what I mean, when you got like a David Fincher produce something like that, like you can probably assume he really believes in. He's probably got a keen eye for something that is something you'd be interested in.
Yeah.
So in this case, you know what I mean, it's just one of those things that you're like, wow, this is really great. This is really original stuff. This is really kind of mind-blowing. This is next level. And you're really happy that it's done there, and you can just hopefully some of these animators and stuff like that can find their niche and find more outlets for it, because this is a really kind of important piece of work, you know what I mean? So I really enjoyed all the stuff that was in this, but I'm more happy that it just had someone to give them some money and like, here, be creative with it, you know what I mean? Because how often these people like just treading water, and they're so creative and they just never find the audience. And I think that's what they have now, you know what I mean? So it's
representation,
great.
Having that juice behind them is one of the main reasons why. I mean, this is a rare thing. Nowadays, it's a lot of, you have to have blank amounts of work published. You have to be known to a certain degree. And then even it's still a crapshoot whether or not you get seen by outside audiences, whether or not you actually achieve that level of fame. Do you have an opportunity to get that reach? And this is something that no one really does. No one really presents the opportunity for, hey, I'm just going to find animators out there in the ether and give them the opportunity to do this project that will be seen by everybody.
18
and then
stories, 18 different animators, 18 different groups of people like doing it like that, and then they're all like under that same theme, and they're all crazy, like creative and good and original and just dark and twisted and fun and
dude,
like
I love
that.
it.
So it's
I love
a good
man.
I'm not a big. Well, I guess that's all I like. I do like anthology series, you know what I mean? I do like you mentioned, it's like Tales from the Crypt and stuff like that.
I got a lot of that.
Like that. So
the influence here directly was they've come out and said they directly took or tried to take influence from heavy metal, the old movie
And I was saying most people would
series, Heavy Metal and
recognize
Heavy
Heavy Metal,
2000.
the cover of the Heavy Metal VHS tape.
Yeah.
Where it's just right in the, you know.
I got a lot of us through puberty back in the day.
It was a big deal.
But Heavy Metal was also like one of the things I want to call out, like some of the criticisms this has gotten online over the last few days, is that a lot of folks have said it's a lot like that for the ADD addled like Ritalin generation and such.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, yes. Because this is a new age. You can't have those same old... I was talking to you before the show. I said, have you watched Heavy Metal in the last 10 years? And you were like, what? And I was like, Adam, have you watched? And you gave me the finger, and I said, okay, this conversation going nowhere.
But it wasn't
But what
because
happened-
I don't have an attention span. It's just because I just...
You always give me the finger. No, that's how we play. No, it's a slow movie
Yeah.
because it's from 30-plus years ago.
Well, it's
I
like,
think.
when's the last time you watched Blade Runner? That's a
Yeah.
slow-ass slog of a movie. Everyone's like, oh, it's the most mind-bending, whatever like that. I'm like, it's kind of slow and boring.
It was when your brain was still developing, if
Right.
that's how you remember it fondly. And I'm not trying to take anything away from it. At its time, yes,
It's
it
still
was
fantastic. I still love
tremendous.
it, and it's all that. But like,
It's very
still
pretty
very
and
boring.
very boring in my opinion. I've never once. I've seen Blade Runner many times. I've never been able to sit through an entire viewing without like conking out at least once.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
it's like it looks very good, but it's a movie I enjoy between comas. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
just like
But the
it's-
dream
it's-
sequence, I was dreaming the whole
Exactly.
time.
Yeah, it seems so real because it really was a dream. But something like this, it's quicker, it's faster paced, especially the like the 15 minutes or less.
But
the pizza delivery.
But I'm not. I don't think
method
they're
of
doing
giving
that. I don't
episodes.
think they're doing that just
good.
because they think you can only have the attention span of 15 minutes. I don't think that's the purpose of cutting these up that short. I think they just wanted to get as many of them out there as they could. I think
think
they
it-
were doing for quantity and quality, not just like, you know, they could have very easily have done maybe 10 to 12 episodes, half hour, 40 minutes long, you know what I
Yeah,
mean,
but
like
I
that. But
wouldn't
this
wanna-
is way they get like more people in there, and I like I said, it's part of the cohesive piece of the whole thing being this fast paced, like kind of this junky, weird, twisted, addicted thing, the way your memory kind of scratches, you know what I mean? That's how it felt to me. So like
Well, yeah,
the
but
time
dude,
limit wasn't
it's-
just because it was treating the audience like they're stupid and they don't have attention spans. It was just like that's the fragmented kind of psyche we're dealing with. I think that was part of the style. You know what I mean?
All right, then think about it this way. Think of any of these episodes, any of them at all. Could you, and any of the ones you enjoyed, would you have enjoyed them as much had they gone on longer? You know, had they drug it out to a half hour or maybe 22
Sure,
minutes.
but they
with, like,
they
commercial
wouldn't be the
break time
same
and stuff.
piece, though. You know what I mean? They would have to have done something else with it. You know what I mean? So I just like it. Like I say, it works the way it does. Doesn't mean it wouldn't work another way. But
Okay.
it's perfect the way it is now.
Mhm.
And but like I'm saying, you can be mad about it for like kind of,
I'm mad at him.
you know what I mean?
I'm too mad.
But there are people out there like kind of like
I'm home watching like, ugh,
that's how you watch. That's why you watch.
I'm
everything.
enjoying this. Wonderful.
Oh, I
Full
watched
star
the Cosby
animation.
Show back then.
No, you know, you're right. Maybe I am being a little unfair to it, and I'm not. It's just that I think the short span of the episodes works in its favor. You know, because you get in, you get the story, you get out, and you know what I think also? I think it may have been both, because I think it may have been intentional that the time limit was placed on the animators, because then
Plus, you know
dude,
how
they're
hard it is
limited
to
get the
animate
story
stuff?
out. Oh, absolutely.
Like, you know how many hours and
Yeah.
hours and hours it takes to animate? So everyone's like,
Dude.
when they do a half-hour episode, it's like, that's another 10,000 hours of manpower. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Literally, you know what I mean? To get
Mhm.
that out there. So
Dude.
it's like, we're playing where it's not live action. You can shoot, you know, like a movie in 12 days if you had to. You can't do this in like something that's like a half hour, something like, or like a feature-length film takes years.
Absolutely.
And years of hard work. So
Well,
it's
you know
like
what I
saying,
also
"Oh, wish it was
applaud on
longer."
this?
It's like, okay, well,
I applaud them on the quality of the animation in these too. There's several different types of animation. You can see each of these studios has a different style, and they each really took this project seriously. This wasn't just, well, we'll make something creepy and kind of horror based, or kind of sick and twisted, and we'll throw out something shot just to get it out. It's just like, yes, it's short, but we'll show exactly what we'll put our best foot forward. And some of the animation in this is beautiful. Well, correction, almost all of it is like beautiful, and that which wasn't was intentionally ugly. I especially
it all serves
I
its
especially wanna-
story, yeah.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
especially want to call out like the fluidity of the movements. There's one where it's one of the shorter ones. It's the one with it's the chase.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I remember that one pretty well.
But it's the chase, and it's just like I'm noticing the actual action and the characters interacting and stuff, and like that's awesome. But also in the background, I'm watching like how a door closes and then slows down as it closes, but it's still like it's doing a thing. It's hyper realistic, and I'm like, who the hell pays attention to that minute detail, that like nuanced little piece of, you know? And that's the kind of stuff. I mean,
some guy has been up for like 9 days, like.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, there's some dust in the background. I gotta make sure it walks. Animating like this, brother. You may lay out the coffee, but I was just so damn impressed by it. And some of the few things I have to say that are negative, and I mean very few, are a lot of the same complaints people have. Where it's like each of these seem to have kind of the same MO. You know, there was only a couple that didn't have, you know, a male protagonist who's saving everybody, or, you know, a female who's got to be the one who's the foil and such, and there was no prominent female characters. Minority characters were there, but not all of them, like, you know, stepped up and things, and it wasn't all, like, whitewashed. I think that may have just been a symptom of, since this was sent out to animators all over the world to contribute to this project, if someone's coming from Sweden, they're not really thinking about, you know, blacks or Asians and such, because their world is just like, you know, blonde hair, blue-eyed. You know, I mean, I get that, you know, but that doesn't mean it's not going to go unnoticed. You know, it's just something to be aware of.
Like all over the world, you're not really thinking about the American audience's effect on that. You know what I mean? Like, how is this going to hit this minority group? You know what I mean? It's probably not really in their social.
But you know what? I'm not going to hate on them for that. I'm not going to. That's not going to be a bad thing. I'm not going to like taint a really good project, what I think was a really good project. It's a thumbs up for me, like right off the bat. But I'm not going to taint that by nitpicking something that may be cultural. Right. You know, I'm taking.
You don't know what they're thinking. You know what I mean? We don't know what it is. You know what I mean? It's not
and speaking of not knowing what they're thinking, have you followed the controversy about the release order online?
No, I have not at all.
Okay, dude.
I don't follow the online beefs with things usually.
You got to, my friend. You got to. You got to subscribe.
You're all up on that, yeah.
Yeah, subscribe to the altar of Charlemagne the God.
Charlemagne the God.
Actually, I don't think he had anything to say about this.
Yeah, I don't think he had anything to say about it. He was like too busy here. With
the order of episodes that you may have seen differs from different criteria Netflix has placed you under as a viewer. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And this is one of the things that there's been a lot of speculation about online, because, yes, they have come out and admitted, yes, we send different episode orders to different people based on different criteria you have about them. And the speculation
was...
white? I wouldn't be surprised.
Black.
But the biggest speculation has been, and, I mean, this is all over Reddit, all over, it's like whether or not Netflix has guessed your sexual orientation, what they think you might be. They sent you a specific order of episodes.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay.
Is it boob heavy first then, I'm sure?
It's possible.
It's possible,
You know, it might be, but then they've been asked directly about it, and all they said was, yes, we have 4 different episode orders, and we sent them to different audiences based on varying criteria.
To what purpose do you think
End
that's
of
for?
message, like...
To what effect, you know what I mean? Like, what do you think the purpose is for that?
Well, it's got to be a sociological experiment. I'd like to think it's something like really benign, banal. Like, okay, so everyone who gets this particular order are people we've guessed really like the color green.
Yeah.
More so than the color red. So, you know, we'll sell them things about faster cars. I don't know. We'll sell them more simple green instead of, what's another product? Oxy.
OxyClean.
But either way, it's data they've collected, and they're using this to collect more data, I guess. But, I mean, don't let that mess you up, because it's a weird thing to get controversy from, but it's also a weird thing to do to spark controversy, you know?
It's just a weird thing in general when you think about like how you're manipulated so suddenly, even by the order of something being presented to you will really have an effect on whether you stick with it or not, whether or not that's actually something that happens. You know what I mean? And it feels like an episode of something we're talking about, you know what I mean?
You think we might be in an episode of Black Mirror right now. Oh, snap, Adam.
Doesn't feel right. But you know what I mean? It feels a little, you know,
it feels a
you
little
feel
weird.
Like it feels weird being like manipulated by the things we watch, and that's never should be a surprise for you. That's what advertising is.
Yeah, but dude,
you know what I mean?
I'm
That's
just so far
TV does
beyond
for you.
that now. Like I'm well aware Big Brother's been watching us since before we were born.
Right.
And I just don't care
It's the
anymore.
Truman Show over and over, my friend. That's the world we got to live in. But it doesn't make you like it anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? It
But
still
you know
feels
what?
like crap,
It
but-
didn't really affect my view on Love, Death, and Robots. But Love, Death, and Robots itself, I had a great time
Well, here's the
watching. I
thing
give it a
with
thumbs up.
with
baby.
something this short too. Sorry, I'm going to give it a thumbs up as well. But
There
do you
you
think
go.
if something these episodes this short,
Mhm.
do you think the order really matters because you get through them really quick? You know what I mean? Do you think like it actually makes a difference what order you watch it in, whether you're not going to stick with the show?
It might depend on whether or not they think you're single or coupled. Whether or not they think you live in some kind of compound or whatnot. Whether or not they think, okay, you're watching this for entertainment, or you're watching this to get ready for some spanking before bedtime.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I
so-
mean,
so-
most
so-
of the
so it's
guys like have an account, like when they set it up, it's like who's using this account. It's like man, wife, whatever like that. Can't they
Yeah.
just, I guess they can pick it up from that. It's like, okay, this guy's gonna take this one to the spank.
I'm
tank a
just
little
thinking
bit
of
later.
the sheer animation per capita they showed you of boof to flapping dong ratio and see how that works out. But you know
Right.
you make
That's
the
all
call.
it really is.
audience.
It's like separating. It's like, are we gonna
boos from flapping
are we gonna
dongs? Yes,
push?
that is
Are we
the-
gonna push that stuff to the forefront, or are we gonna kind of bury it in the back?
Well,
That's really probably what they're doing.
all right.
That's the
Well,
order.
you keep how you buried the dongs in the back to yourself, my friend. I think it's time we move on to Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol.
Good pull, dude.
is
That
a-
was good. That was good.
Doom Patrol is the latest
You kinda
series.
just segue just like
Just
that. Like, all
chunk
right,
it
fine. That's just as
Take
natural
3.
as it gets, huh?
Doom Patrol is the latest live action series.
Live action. The first live action series, from what I understand,
On DC Universe,
of
DC's
a-
new exclusive.
of a long-standing crappy comic that you don't like.
I'm personally not a fan of Doom Patrol.
Okay.
Doom Patrol has been a series since the 1960s, and they've perpetually been pushing it over and over and over again, trying to get these characters in this like lame-ass story out to the public in various iterations, written by good people, around like times where the political turmoil in the story should have an effect on the societal residents reading it, and instead they've just released these crappy, shoddily written, poorly constructed, vapid, character-driven stories.
Even you think that because like Grant Morrison's one of the more respected,
Yes,
comic book
he-
writers of his time, and he took
Yes.
a stab at this, and he did it for quite a while, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, man.
And you didn't like his version of it either?
Absolutely not, my friend.
Absolutely not, alright.
What was it? Who did? Wasn't it Jeremy Lin that did Too Fast, Too Furious?
Yep.
So everyone can have a turd every now and then. what I'm getting at is Doom
Alright, yeah.
Patrol is a
Nice
book
point.
that I personally have had a negative relationship with because I've been a DC reader forever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you are a DC guy, I would say, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, I love robots. Robot Man is a character there. I'm like, oh, dude, it's got this mechanical dude. Okay, what are they gonna do?
Called
with him?
Robot Man. That's a great name.
Yeah. Actually,
So
robot,
creative.
ro-
I
robot-
like it how blunt and like simple it is. Robot Man.
Robot
Okay,
Man.
interesting.
What's his powers? Well, he's a man who's a robot.
Yeah,
Well,
he died.
well
now he's a
said.
robot.
Yeah.
Since he got blown to
But,
bits, right?
Dude, this is a series that brought Brendan Fraser back to the
Brendan
world.
Fraser, man. Okay, so what about Brendan Fraser? He
Yep.
has been like a guy I've loved seeing in movies since Encino Man.
Okay,
You know what
that was,
I mean?
that was way
Like,
back.
I think
yeah.
back in the '90s and stuff. It's always that face we've grown up with. I think you know what I mean. Like he was just that staple in like '90s movies, but he's always
He's
been
always
that,
had that
like,
look.
He's always been like that boyish, you know what I mean? Really fun, like really just like not taking himself too seriously. A good action star, good like dopey kind of comic, comic star, everything. And then there was this great Esquire piece, I believe, about how we don't see him in movies anymore and about why and about how he's living his life now. And it's really kind
Was
of
this an actual piece, or was
This
this
is
like
an
one of those
actual piece in
BuzzFeed
Esco.
articles? Why Hollywood won't hire so and so?
No, it's not one
Okay,
of those you read
okay.
at the bottom of an article on ESPN or something like
Yeah,
that. No,
like
not one of those
garbage.
clickbait pieces. This is actually like a well explored and well detailed thing about how his life and how he's living his life and everything like that.
Okay,
And it's really
okay.
this tear jerk, and I would really suggest anybody who is interested in like what this guy's doing now to kind of go out and read it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was so pleased to see him working and doing something again. You know what I mean? He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't look the same. You know what I mean? He's kind of got a little bit bigger. You know
Well,
what I mean?
also
He's
you
got that
mentioned
thing.
he's always been that boyish,
Right.
charming actor. He's like well in his 40s, maybe he like nearing 50.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, you still on that?
Which is crazy to think about.
A boyish 50-year-old. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that
That
mm-hmm.
ain't right. So, Robot Man it is on a webcom.
Benjamin Button on the sucker, maybe. But okay, a little history about Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is a story about misfit heroes who have always been like reluctant to get in the fray, but their leader, Professor Niles Calder, is the dude who inspires them to use their powers for good and such. And we've got a responsibility to protect so and so. It's like, sound familiar? And
But
one of
it's
the
also these
histories of
guys-
this is that the early creators accused Stan Lee of stealing their idea
Yeah.
when he created the X-Men.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
He
they
might
may
have.
not be wrong because Doom Patrol predates X-Men by, I think, 2 to 4 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't really change the fact that, yeah, Doom Patrol has always sucked and X-Men was pretty cool.
Right.
But
that's,
still,
you
it's a
could
story
see
of-
the idea. You could see the thing, like you can see the connection between the two. Sure.
You can.
But you know what I mean. But you're right. Like I don't think Stanley can be exactly faulted for kind of taking a little bit of an idea and running with it better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think the thing with Doom Patrol too, it's like these people were scarred and like mangled by what had happened to them. Like they, you know what I mean? So they suffered some crazy accident or something like that, and that gives them their powers, and that they have to live with the consequences of that, and it doesn't really make them better people mentally. You know what I mean? Where it's like everyone assumes like these heroes are impenetrable, obviously with their physical gifts and everything, but like mentally they're just like, yeah, whatever it is, you can get ripped apart and get.
Well, no,
you know,
you're right.
put
You
back
make a
together.
good point. Let me explain some of my vitriol towards the franchise before it seems like I'm reviewing this from a point of bias here. That's one of the things that I've always noticed about Doom Patrol and has pissed me off because that's an awesome angle to come at it from.
Yeah.
You know, and back when no one was doing that, that would have been revolutionary. You know, let them explore their trauma. This could have been a powerful collection of stories about. This could have been a powerful collection of stories about people dealing with that psychosis and getting over that to achieve their greatest potential. You know, and that could have been deep.
Know who could have directed this movie if it was a movie? Josh Trank. Did Chronicle, and he did obviously
Yeah.
Fantastic Four. That was crap.
Okay, yeah, I'm about to say
It
not
was,
a selling
it,
point.
it was crap, but like the movie, obviously we know about the movie he wanted to make that was Fantastic Four, and they wouldn't let him. That's why it was crap. It was like more body horror. It was more like looking at it a little darker. You know what I mean? A little bit that trauma. You know what I mean? A little bit, and that sounds exactly like something that he would be able to kind of take and run with.
Yeah.
Should they let him? They give him the kind
Well,
of
you
the
get the
rein to
right
do it.
person behind it, and yeah, it could have been
It could be
deep.
an
And the
interesting
thing is,
project.
but they've never done that,
Right.
and that's been the main thing I've noticed. Like they've tried repeatedly. Like if anyone's ever tried to release a comic, you know, or get your writing published, and found that the world of comics is continuously stiff-armed you should be heated as because they've continuously tried to re-release this over and over and over again, and it's always the same base characters. You've got Niles Calder, you've got Robot Man, you've got Elastigirl, you've got you've got Negative Man,
Negative Man,
you've got
Crazy Jane?
Crazy Jane came later actually.
She came later.
Yeah, the original group was those 5 characters.
Yeah.
Crazy Jane came in the 90s, I believe.
Okay.
And it was various iterations. It was the team, and they're traumatized by the accidents that made them who they are, and they're
Right.
shut-ins. Or it's the team, and they're out using their abilities to do good, spurred on by Niles Calder. Or it's the team, and they're using their abilities to do good, and they think they're starting to make some headway, and then it turns out Niles Calder is actually the secret one who's been pulling their strings. Or it's the team, and they're out trying to do good, and then they're taking on new members like Mento and Crazy Jane and such. And then it turns out Niles Calder is actually evil the whole time, and the good he's been having them do is evil machinations. You know, or it's the team, and it's like all this, and it never changes. And all those were actual real directions it took over the decades, man. And the thing is, it always comes back to, okay, well, is the core team learning to get along? Are they fun to read about? No, it's a bunch of assholes, man.
Yeah, they said they're
And coming down to
bicker
this
and
live
bitching all,
action, it's
yeah.
the exact same, which is unfortunate.
yeah.
How did you find Doom Patrol?
Now, to me, it looked a little bit like there was some money behind this. You could see it in some scenes, but to me, it was like too clunky. You know what I mean? I wanted more Brendan Fraser, less robot.
The special effects were actually on point. I will say it's a complete waste of Alan Tudyk.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good point as well. I mean, to me, it's not something I would probably revisit. I didn't really respond to it that well. I'm not a big fan of the comics either. But that being said, I just haven't read as much of them.
All right.
You know what I mean? But I've never been interested enough to go back and pick them up. And this is from a Grant Morrison fan as well. But yeah, this wasn't my favorite piece of material. You know
All
what I
right,
mean?
you know,
I
that's a
didn't
fair
really- I
assessment.
didn't get it. It was a lot of like, it seemed like kind of this therapy session most of the time. You know what I mean? They would sit there and be like, oh, why are you this way? And some Elastigirl in the bathroom saying, like, if you can hear me breathing, I'm a human being, and it's just kind of like this weird, like, I get the trauma and I get, you know what I mean, that's part of it, but it just seemed to like an AA meeting or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of
that.
that, which I think that was them actually trying to do what I said would be interesting before.
Right, but
they're
it
trying to
just didn't
explore
work,
some of the.
I don't think, in the way they did it, and I mean, I think part of it too is like, and I don't know, they have good actors, but I just didn't think the performances were that great.
Yeah,
you know
dude,
what
I
mean?
mentioned-
some of
I
it looked
mentioned,
kind of crappy. Some of the
The prosthetics were off.
prosthetics were
the
off.
special effects, especially on Elastigirl's melting, was straight out of, dude. Like that's, I don't even know, an episode of Goosebumps.
Yeah,
circa
no, like one
1996,
scene I'm talking about when her leg is like all like that. It's like that looks like crap. Come on, man.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So there was
Seen better animations on Pornhub, man.
a lot.
No, I know. I see what you're saying. The thing is, you're right about the actors, but I don't think it gave them that much to actually do in the writing.
No,
to
I don't
begin
think the
with.
writing was that good, and that obviously like it kind of bled into the acting. There's only so much you can do. You can't polish that diamond so much. You know what I mean? It is what it is. At the same time, like some of these lines are, "Oh, hey, kitty," like, it's like, okay, dude, like it's not particularly innovative in the writing.
Yeah, I do have to give them one bit of credit though. At the very least, like as bad as I think this was, it was bad in line. Yeah, I do have to give them credit for being bad. No, it was right in line with Doom Patrol, the comic, and all their appearances and animation. They've never had a Doom Patrol cartoon, but they've been in. They've appeared in tons of shows. Young Justice, Justice League. I think, don't quote me, but I think there may have been a brief appearance on Super Friends. But it's always been along the same lines. The team is all about them and never about anyone else.
Right.
And when they have to work with Superman, when they got to work with the Titans, when they got to work with, Young Justice, it's like, okay, cool, they're going to get in the mix. Like, no, they're all about them and everyone else is just in their way. It's like, you're messing up, though. We know what to do. Yeah, but, we're all about us. Like, oh, man, forget you,
It's like Guardians
man.
of the Galaxy if they never helped
Yeah,
everybody else.
yeah, they're just dicks to everyone else. And like that stops being interesting after a while. You know what it is? It's like the Proto Authority. If you've ever read The Authority, which is another offshoot of DC, which was, I don't think they've made an Authority book in like a good 5-10 years. But The Authority is a similar team dynamic to the Doom Patrol. But dude, the stories have always been dope. The adventures, the stuff they get into has always been very cleverly designed and poignant. The relationships between them have always been interesting because they take they go to weird places and it's awesome. And the thing is, I feel like somebody learned from every version of Doom Patrol and did the opposite. But where I'll praise this Doom Patrol series on is if you are a hardcore DC Comics nerd, it has Easter eggs out the walls for you. And the thing is, they don't harp on, they don't focus on, oh, you see this? We got the gauntlet here. It's none of that. As they go through, you look in the background, you'll spot random obscure trinkets that are things that you'll only know if you're, if you don't know, they're just there. If you do know, it's one of those moments where as a DC fan, he's like, oh, there was that. And there was that tons of times, man. The brain box from the Brain and Mr. Mala. That was right there. Mento and Mento's weird-ass helmet and stuff. These are all things from the books and from the DC universe. They random conversations that seemingly are innocuous and just to be filler are references to actual storylines in the comics. And that's the kind of thing that is specifically meant for folks who have been reading the books for a long time. Right. They're going to be like, oh, that's that, bam, bam, bam. Oh, that's so-and-so. So it's not like it had folks who didn't know the material, and the thing is, I'm going down this list of random reasons why this was not enjoyable. And it always comes down to, it wasn't the actors, it wasn't, the direction, it was the effects, it was the story, and it was the fact that it's Doom Patrol to begin with. They chose the weakest iteration of Elastigirl, where she's too traumatized to do anything effective. Not the one where she grows, giant and she's just really jealous of what's his name, of the Holmes there. It's Brendan Fraser doing a decent job as Robot Man, but then they keep Robot Man pretty one-dimensional. I think the most poignant character, and mind you, we're talking about something with Alan Tudyk in here. Alan Tudyk, one of the most awesome actors we have today. And Crazy Jane was the one that stood out the most to me. Yeah. She's playing the multiple personality thing. She's almost along the lines of of James McAvoy in Split.
Split. A little
Yeah,
bit.
she's
Yeah,
nailing
it's
the
just like
different
there's all of a sudden
characteristics.
she's like,
you know?
oh, don't touch me. Then she's like, oh, touch me. It's like, whoa, hey, man, damn. Then she's throwing somebody like.
That's when
you
Adam
know,
started paying attention.
Yeah. Well.
So,
Yeah. Then she's
yeah.
hits Robot Man up the stairs like 40 yards.
It's a hard thing to do, man. Though it's her. It's I mentioned James McAvoy, Tatiana Maslany, if you know who she is.
Yeah, okay.
Did you ever watch Orphan Black?
Yes. Yeah, okay. I know you're talking
Yeah, no, genius actress. I've seen her other stuff
The king
too.
of doing multiple roles in the movie.
Eddie
is,
Murphy, I know.
Van Damme, obviously.
Oh, okay.
Who's played twins
Really?
more than Van Damme? Okay. We're talking Double Impact. We're talking Replicant. We're talking Maximum Risk. You know what I mean? No one plays the twins better.
man.
No one plays twins more than JC.
You're right. No one can handle that more than the muscles from Brussels. Just,
Oh, my seat.
all right, but no, it's Doom Patrol.
He
this
showed up in this. Imagine.
Yeah,
Oh, my.
dude. Tim
Alright.
Dalton is in this too. I
Tim
almost
Dalton
forgot.
is on
He's-
this. Oh my God! we
They got a
forgot about
James
him.
Bond in this, and they use him kind of effectively, but it's like they don't really know which
I didn't
iteration
mind
of.
Dalton in this. Yeah. I didn't mind Dalton in this.
Well, it's like I didn't like the character he was playing. I don't hate him. Like he's really come into his own as just this like weird old guy who's gonna be amusing regardless of what he's doing. You know?
Yeah, he plays like the drunk uncle and everything. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
and it, somehow it works for
That's
him. He's
perfect.
just-
That's a perfect second life. For,
I think
for
it's because
Tim
his
Dalton.
face looks like the Guy Fawkes mask.
Well, the thing is, like,
He's
he
always got
was-
that kind of smile.
He
It's like-
is like was trying to be
Yeah.
the hero for so long when he has the face of the bad guy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and it's just, dude, that's who you are.
Yeah,
he
Well,
plays
just-
into it now.
Just live it.
Yeah.
Live it, and you're fine.
Yeah, but Doom Patrol is the story of just these people who are distraught and who are essentially broken, for lack of a more appropriate term, that are brought together in this mansion. And the way this show plays with time is really weird, because you can get why Robot Man would exist over like centuries and such, but everyone else, it's like, why aren't you aging, or why aren't you like dead, or why don't you? It's just
Why won't
it
you
just-
die?
It plays with time in a way that's never really explained or really makes sense for the way the story plays out. It's really disjointed about the era it's set in. The stories are weak. The play out is weak. It takes far too long for the heroes to get into any kind of hero situation, hero mode, and they spend most of the time infighting. Dude, it was just a bad time to watch, and I actually hoped that this would be the thing that brings me around on Doom Patrol, because I mean, I don't enjoy hating on stuff. And I've had a long span of not enjoying this
That's
franchise.
actually
but
one
I
of
thought
your oldest pastimes, my friend.
of hating.
Of hating.
Yeah, I'm a journeyman hater.
He's certified.
yeah,
Is
I've
it
been
members only
hating.
jacket.
I've been hating since been hating. No, I got to give this a thumbs down. And the thing is, I had really hoped I wouldn't have to, because, dude, I saw it had money behind it. I saw it had actors behind it. I thought since this was going to be DC's like big, buy into our service, this would have been their best foot forward. And instead, nah, thumbs down, man. You?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I disliked it as much as you did. I don't think I disliked the property as much
Adam
as you
gives
do.
it 4 thumbs up. Like, what?
But that being said, I don't think it really interests me at all either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go back and finish it, and I'm not going to go back and try to watch it again. Or I'm not interested if they have any more after this. So, I think just with that, I'll probably give it a thumbs down.
All right.
Yeah, that's my take on it. But what I really want to know now.
Well, hold on a second. If DC's going to tackle all obscure stuff, though, I want to see them tackle like Ragman.
Shut up, dude. Don't put that out there, too. And, some guy right home side now, I'm like, Ragman's right. Right.
All right. No, sir. You had an announcement you were going to
No,
say.
I'm ready to hear your review on Us, because
Yes.
that is what the kiddos are talking about these days. And like I
Oh.
said, you ever see this come out of Jordan Peele like that? I mean,
Not at all. It is all the rage. We're talking, of
Good
course,
for
about
him, man.
Us, the new horror thriller from Jordan Peele, comedian turned horror director, actor, writer, producer. Well, actually, not actor. I haven't seen him in any of these movies just yet.
no. Well, I mean, I
Nah,
thought
he
he
wasn't.
made like a small appearance, like a kind of like a. Kind of like just a little cameo.
In Get Out, he pulled a Shyamalan.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I don't think so.
No?
He's better than that.
Okay.
But Jordan Peele has surprised us, because we've known him for most of his career, or at least most of our awareness of his career as a comedian. Yet he came out with last year's blockbuster, just ridiculous. Wait, was it
Yeah.
last year?
2 years
Am I-
ago.
okay, 2 years ago.
years
Yeah. Just ridiculous, just runaway hit.
One,
Get Out.
best original screenplay, I think was.
Yeah,
something
dude,
on?
and
Yeah.
you know what? Well deserved too. Well, now he's back with a new horror presentation, and this one is
And
very
doing stuff
different.
that's just flat out not funny. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? There's
dude,
nothing funny
it
about
was-
it, like either get out with the theme of it, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
or this where it's just like seems like just pure balls to the wall kind of horror.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you don't see people like you kind of stay in that niche where it's like you're a funny guy, but like he does a complete 180, and this is like some serious.
But you know what? I like it because he's
No, it's
shown
great.
that
He
he's
showed
got
how
those
crazy
chops.
Good at it he is. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
dude, Blindsided. Now, Us is the story of a family that goes to, they're on vacation. They go to their retreat in the woods. And you think it's going to be just a story of a family. They go to the cabin. They go on the lake. They have, a boat, but
Can
they
I
go
tell you what
do some
I
fishing
think
and some such.
I thought it was going to be about? I thought it was going to be about
dude,
black on black
lay it
crime.
You thought it was going to be a black on black crime?
I thought that's what it's going to be about. Like the ones chasing us are us, and then I thought it was going to make a statement about how there's more black on black violence than there should be. You know what I mean? I thought that's what it might be when I saw the trailer. I thought that's what something's going on. Just the name to us, something like that. And
I
it's
can
like
see
these
that.
doppelgangers chasing us like that look just like us.
Yeah.
I thought that's what they were going to do.
I can see that. That might be a little too heavy-handed for Jordan Peele's directing style.
I think it would be too,
If
but
it
I'm like
was-
maybe he's really going after it with this one. You know?
Well,
what
if
I
it was
mean?
someone like Spike Lee, I could definitely see that.
right,
you know,
Spike Lee's
yeah.
Us would have been that, right?
Yeah, they
no.
just be gliding after each other like.
That dolly shot, just
dolly
endless.
shot.
Yeah.
It'd be
Dude, you should do a horror movie where it's just like one killer dolly shot. Like
be a
chasing
whole horror
around.
movie in POV. Nah, man. But this is the story of a family. They go out to the woods to, just unwind, enjoy their summer vacation. And there's a, what do you call it? There's a boardwalk carnival there. There's the beach, and there's the rides, and there's the exhibits, and there's the fun house. And the mother has a secret history with the fun house that we don't quite know what's going on with just
always a
yet. We
secret
find
history,
out.
yeah. There's always a secret history, man.
There's always a secret history, but I think that's one of the things one of those random tropes that we expect to be there. It's
Horror's
like,
got to
okay,
have them, dude. Horror's got to have them.
well, was it a murder that happened there years ago? Is it built on some sort of Native American sacred ground? What could it be? Did someone at some point piss off a witch doctor and they sprinkled some crack on him? And I don't know.
What's some Beetlejuice crack?
Yeah,
Just,
just
whoa, whoa.
yeah, well, this is the story of it really takes off when this family, just enjoying a night in, starts being terrorized by this other family that looks exactly like them. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no explanation for the stuff that happens in this movie, and that's one of the biggest slaps in the face there. You'd think at some point you're going to find out, I guess that's what this is, or these are some killers that are stalking them, or anything. And it's just pure terror. These folks come out of nowhere, and they want you. And they've got beef with you. And I don't know what you did, but your ass. And I'm very surprised by Winston Duke in this.
Yeah.
Because we've seen him play M'Baku, and it's like, okay, so this
yeah.
dude, he's hardcore. He's gonna come
Talking
out
about
and
M'Baku
mess
from
with some stuff.
Black Panther, of course. Yeah.
Yes, from Black Panther.
With one of the craziest, awesome, don't mess with me names ever, Winston Duke.
Winston Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a cinder block.
Yes, dude, you hear him often just Alpha, Alpha, Alpha. I'm just like, yes.
Is that Affleck? No. No.
Oh, but in this he plays he does very well as the corny dad figure, and he kind of put on a dad bod for this.
Yeah, he's a big
And-
dude.
Yeah,
He's a
but
solid man right there, yeah.
and surprisingly, very effective as kind of a cat who thinks he's hard but is very much not.
Yeah.
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 Lupita Nyong'o too. This was her vehicle to shine, and I really did not dig her character or her other character in this. But I will say at the very least, this was ridiculous range for her. She stretches and she pulls the split personality thing herself. It was very surprising, man.
Is it Van Damme level? Sorry.
Yes,
Throw one
yes, it
more.
was Van Damme level. She was doing the splits and everything.
Yeah, talk about, yeah.
Yeah, but no, the story really throws you for a loop. And the thing is, it's fun to talk about and speculate everything you think might happen based on Peele's history with having written horror before and coming from comedy, So it's like you don't know where he's going to come from. So there's been a lot of speculation as to what this movie can actually be about. I've seen it twice. I don't really know what it's about still. It's just a head trip. Dude, they never could have made this if he hadn't made Get Out before. If he hadn't gotten that cachet before, because this is one of those just really whacked out horror movies. This is on some Tales from the Crypt, Twilight Zone
Do you think
stuff.
there's
right?
anything that to do with, us could be U.S., United States?
I thought that too. I thought that, especially when Googling for a graphic for tonight's image.
Yeah.
I thought so, but there's nothing in the movie really that presents that. Besides the fact that they do some cross-country stuff, and I won't tell you what because it's a spoiler.
Right.
It relates to a
let's not spoil
transition
this
of
thing. I still got to see this weekend. So.
Okay, well, it relates to a transition of time, and that could be interpreted as a commentary on not even the state of the nation, but just the nation as a whole, like what it is in general. You know, things it's represented over the years. But I'm like, that's a hard reach, my friend. That's
sure,
you are way in the rafters on that one. Yeah. But dude, I will say that this has to be one of the trippiest experiences I've had, without jump scares, without building tension to get for like pointless things. Like every bit of tension they build pays off.
Yeah.
Every scare you see coming and it still hits you. And a lot of it is just surprising performances. Tim Heidecker's in this, who's a dude. I've never been a fan of the Tim and Eric projects. Tom Goes to the Mayor, because it's just not my kind of comedy, not my kind of acting. Right. And I expected at some point, something goofy to pop out there, because you're dealing with Tim Heidecker, you're dealing with Jordan Peele, and it's a movie that's not entirely like just serious horror. There are a couple of amusing moments to pop out. It never gets funny. But there's some stuff that's amusing. You see some of it in the credits, and that's not all that's in the credits. In the trailer, dude, he got the battle. You want to get crazy? It's like, yeah, you about to get messed up.
Crazy.
Yeah. But it's just like it never goes to that weird, annoying point that I expected.
Right. Are we in like a new golden age for horror? Would you say?
I hope so.
Because there's been a lot. I mean, obviously we got Jordan Peele, but we're talking about we talked about Hereditary a bunch in the past, and I think you just watched the trailer for Midsummer, Ari Aster's new film, the guy who directed.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
There's a lot of these young cats coming out like doing some really crazy original stuff, which is great. You know what I mean? After like.
Well, dude, I'm all about
decades
that,
of just like kind of beating the same brushstrokes, you know what I mean, against the wall.
Well, no, I love that, because think about how many years we've had to deal with the horror genre in books and film and television.
How many more Halloweens do we need, even though they try to revamp it and it's still the same crap?
Stop remaking old joints, man. It's like, yes, no, they were good. You want to make them for new audiences, but just make the old stuff available and have it be legacy.
The guy that did The Witch, stuff like that. It's like there's some crazy. I mean, you can cull stories from like those old legends and stuff, but you can do it in such a way where it's just not like treating you like an idiot.
Well, yeah, now, but then you're just waiting for that reboot of Blair Witch, aren't you?
I'm waiting for that Weekend at Bernie's 3 horror movie that I've been dying for. Yeah,
Bernie's Revenge.
And do I have to write it myself, guys? Like, let's get it. Flubber 2.
Weekend at Bernie's, the long weekend.
The Lost Weekend at Bernie's.
The Lost. Oh, that's good.
Wow, yeah,
that is good. Yeah. Oh man. Patent pending. Copyright on that. So yeah. But no, what it comes down to is Us is the only thing I can really say about it is it's different. It's nothing like we expected, and some of the best fun you'll have in this movie is just talking about it afterwards, trying to well, first of all, beforehand, trying to interpret what you think it might be, because the trailer is good, very vague, great use of I got 5 on it.
Which was in the trailer, which I thought was really effective even that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're telling me there's more to that?
Yeah. Believe it or not, dude, I did not like this movie, because it's one that I like to be able to figure out stuff, and those conversations, I like to come to conclusions and like speculate and figure out what's going on. And Lupita Nyong'o's performance was very varied, and I didn't like both those characters. Winston Duke, I think, was a strong force. The kids in this were really good. What's her name from Handmaid's Tale? I had the name here somewhere, but it's escaping me.
Miller?
I think her name's Elizabeth Moss.
Moss, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You're right.
From Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
But either way, dude, it's like I did not like this movie, but I'm definitely giving it a high thumbs up. Because I acknowledge I didn't like it, but that doesn't mean it was bad. I didn't like it because I couldn't figure stuff out.
Yes.
And it just kind of like, it threw me a bit too much, Gotcha. It's like I went a bit too cross-eyed, but it was well made, well acted. Very surprising from, I kind of like Tim Heidecker's character. I can't stand the guy's work.
Right.
So I got to give it a thumbs up. I highly recommend you check it out. So I want to talk to you
Will do.
and get your opinion afterwards.
Yeah, I'll probably get at you this weekend.
All right. All right, so we've come to the end of another wonderful, exponentially awesome Geek Down. I want to thank you all for joining us. I want to thank Black Adam Willis, my man.
sir.
Bow. And if you all want to follow up on us and hear what we have to say on other type topics, hit us up at geekdownradio@gmail.com. Also, you can go to geek-down.com for all our escapades. And, follow us on Facebook. Find us on /TheGeekDown, on Twitter @TheGeekDown. And, dude, man, SoundCloud, iTunes, we're everywhere. Look us up. And we'll catch you all next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. But until then, be excellent to each other.
Peace. Bill and Ted 3's coming out, by the way.
Oh, that's true.
Hands off me.